Hey, how's it going, you guys? This is petplatypus here, and to continue Avatar Month, I'm bringing you guys Avatar The Last Airbender, The Promise Part 2 review. This was better written than the previous part, but it also had like kind of irrelevant stuff-ish. I don't know really how to explain it. I'll get into it with the summary, but it was both better and worse in some ways. So I guess I'll just kind of summarize. There's about three different plot lines in this particular part. There's Toph and Sokka with the metal bending school kind of having a rivalry with these firebending kids who used to own that dojo, and they left the dojo because of the whole harmony restoration movement thing. But because Zuko backed out of that, they wanted to go back to their school, and Toph took it over, and now they're going to kind of fight over the school, see who has the better students. There's the Aang and Katara storyline, which involves these Avatar fangirls, Avatar Aang fangirls, excuse me, and then also going to see the Earth King and him deciding to pretty much wage war on Yudao, or whatever this little colony is called. And then the third storyline is Zuko talking to his father, which is a very brief part, which is very disappointing and unfortunate, but that's the briefest part of this whole thing. And that's kind of my problem with it, is that seeing the firebending kids go up against the earthbending or the metal-bending students, it's not relevant, really. It's cool seeing Sokka be funny and Toph be funny, and there's some creative ways to try and get them to metal bend, but the students aren't particularly interesting, and it really doesn't get good until Toph starts to talk about how, you know, am I any better than my parents? I'm trying to make these guys something that they're not, which is what my parents did to me, and it makes her kind of emotional, and there's a moment where the kids are about to give up, and they decide to work with Toph again. They say Toph inspired her, and you know, Toph has a little bit of a tear in her eye and stuff. I mean, that was good, but everything before that was just kind of fillerish comedy that really didn't matter at all. You know, like I said, the students aren't very interesting. The Fire Nation guy and his kids aren't very interesting. They're little fucking badasses with their formations, but still. So I was hoping for a little bit more from that. And then the Aang Katara one, it was shorter, so I didn't mind it as much, but again, sort of fillerish. The fangirls are kind of funny. Katara's a little bit jealous, but it's nothing too overblown. She kind of keeps it to herself. There's no big fight between her and Aang. But I liked Aang, like what he says after it's all said and done, when he does like the air marvels and has them all float on air scooters, and he plays the weird Airbender instrument, and he's having fun with them at their little clubhouse. He says that he felt like he was with his people again, which I thought was a really cool moment. And when he's thanking Katara after she drags him out of there, you see the look on her face, and it's not like the most detailed art or anything, but just the look on her face when he says thank you, and she's like, fuck, I just wanted to leave because I was jealous. And she says, you don't need to thank me. I liked that a lot. Then it becomes relevant again when they go see the Earth King, and the Earth King, he has, I guess, a kind of a point. I can see where he's coming from when he's like, you know, I've been betrayed by, you know, the Dai Li and my most trusted advisor, Long Fang, and now Zuko's betraying me, he's lying to me, he made a promise, and now he's backing out on it, and I'm pissed off, I'm going to wage war. So I can see where the Earth King's coming from, but he's definitely jumping the gun, and he's showing his inexperience as a king, as actually ruling properly, because he was just a figurehead before. For the most part, I believe that's what he was. I don't think he did too much actual real king stuff. But yeah, so now he actually has to be an authoritative, responsible figure, and they're telling him, dude, do not start another war. We just ended a 100-year war a year ago. We cannot go 1 year and have another war. That's bullshit. So Aang and Katara are going to try and stop it by going over to Yudao. We see that girl again who tried to assassinate Zuko. She's preparing for an inevitable fight. And then Zuko finds out about what the king's doing, and he forms up his little army, and now both armies are going to that small little Earth Kingdom colony. And then also Zuko has the conversations with his dad. He talks about this story where he had to try and choose between feeding this hawk an animal that he was protecting or protecting the animal, and he's not really sure which one he should have chosen. And then Fire Lord Ozai, or not Fire Lord anymore, but Ozai's like, whatever you picked is right because you're the Fire Lord. There is no right or wrong with them. It's you. it deserves to be protected if you say it deserves to be protected. Basically, we're kind of getting more characterization on Ozai and his mindset, which I like because as a villain, he's intimidating, he's cool, but he's kind of one note and pretty standard, so it's nice to see more characterization from him, see kind of his mindset when he was the Fire Lord. And Zuko is kind of, brushing him off. I'm liking Zuko. I'm liking that he's not just taking his advice and, becoming like his father. I like that he's arguing with him. He's saying, Aang is my friend and blah, blah, blah. And he's kind of... he shouldn't really be listening to anything his dad is saying, but I like that he's fighting against what his dad is saying. And then, the Earth King attacks, or not attacks, but the Earth King readies his army, and then Zuko's like, wow, my dad was right. Then he readies his army. I don't know, I just want to see where it all leads. I don't think Zuko's character has gone completely backwards or completely regressive. I just want to see how it gets wrapped up, and I hope it gets wrapped up in a very good way. So, in terms of story progression, a lot happened towards the end, but not too much. The art was well depicted. I thought better depicted than the previous the previous chapter. Because I could actually follow everything pretty much 100%. Nothing was really a problem. I did read it backwards accidentally. I did that with the first one too. I got to the first page and I read it backwards like a manga, and I was like, wait, fuck, that didn't make any sense. I gotta go forward. So yeah, I made that mistake. That's kind of, not embarrassing, but that's kind of funny because I made the same mistake with the first one because I was so used to reading manga. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the whole summary and the story progression. There's some there, but there was also some fillery stuff with Sokka and Toph, even though it led to some good characterization from Toph and a little bit of character development, I would say. And the whole Aang and the girls. Oh, and one of the Airbender girls sent like a messenger hawk, so that'll probably play a part. So again, not super fillerish. They mattered, and they're probably going to maybe come into play, but... for what they were, they felt kind of fillerish as they were happening. But if they end up mattering and they end up playing a part, that'll be cool. And I think her students do know how to metal bend now. I think that's happened also. Yes. They definitely did metal bend the coins. And that was also cool. I also liked the little detail where they would metal bend the coins at the Fire Nation boys, and they would try to light the coins on fire, and they'd say, wait, stop, we're just heating up the coins. I liked that little detail. That's like a nice little classic Avatar detail that I really liked. So yeah, it still feels like Avatar. It's still pretty good. A little rough around the edges in presentation, but I definitely liked it. I think it was maybe a little bit better than the first one. It's been a while since I read the first one, so I know all the major things that happened, but I'm not really sure which one I like better. But it's all part of one big story, so whatever. This is just the middle chapter. We'll see what happens in the final chapter, which I shall be reviewing tomorrow. So for this one, the art was good, the story progression fairly solid. And the overall pace of it, a tad slow because of, going through all the metal bending school stuff and all the fangirl stuff, which was kind of short, but the metal bending stuff took up a large portion of it. And as I said, because the students aren't that interesting, felt a little bit slow in those parts, but the pacing was overall fine. I'd give this overall comic part 7.5 out of 10. It's good, not great, but it's good. And I definitely want to see where it's leading up to. The cover for part 3 looked pretty hype with like the Avatar state going on and shit. So I'll see what happens. But yeah, I liked it. So, thanks for watching this video. Tell me what you guys think of Avatar The Last Airbender, The Promise Part 2 in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram. Rate this video if you would please, and subscribe if you like what you've seen here. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.